Sean Zattel here with my man, good top prospect Steven Navarro. Man, Steven, how's everything been, man?
Everything's been great, man. Been staying in the gym, working. And thank you for having me, brother.
Oh, always, man. Well, hey, I like the hat. I love the Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns hat. But let's get into it, man. Based off the last fight, the Jesse Mendoza fight, I made sure to watch it before we hopped on. But to start there, man, what went through your mind after that fight with Jesse Mendoza?
You know what? Honestly, it was a real heartbreak at the moment, and I really I really had to experience that. A lot of people were telling me just to get over it, but I really embraced those emotions. And we always call my coach and I. We always talk about staying neutral. Recognize what's happened and what we need to do to move forward and grow. And that's exactly what I've been doing. I've made the adjustments that we need to make. Um, and yeah, man, I'm excited to be back in the ring February 14th. And yeah,
Yeah, don't mind me, harping on a sore spot, but I just wanted to get in
are you
depth
good?
on it because there's a lot of obsession with the O in today's boxing for a while now. That obsession with that undefeated record. How much did it hurt to have it taken from you in that manner? Where I saw the fight, he got the knockdown in the third round, but you got up and hurt him. Won basically the rest of the round after getting knocked down, and then the fight gets stopped on a cut from a headbutt before you can continue on in the fourth round. And it's a headbutt really caused more by him coming in than it was something you did wrong. But yeah, how did all that feel?
You know what? I've always said I was a 12 round fighter. I'm always a fighter who's gonna make adjustments within the round, within rounds, and I'm just gonna get better and better. It was taken from me, but it's life, and like I said, I need that experience to grow as a fighter. I'm in love with old school boxing, and fighters who I look up to, they didn't have a clean record. So I always keep that in mind. And there's still history to be made with a loss in my record, and that's not going to stop me. So I'm constantly just jotting down lessons, and yeah, just continuously growing and moving forward.
What would you say to the boxing fans? Maybe a lot of them newer fans, or just even getting into it for last 5, 10 years, who they immediately devalue you to a degree just because you're a prospect who doesn't have that O now going forward.
You know what? Watch me fight. That's it. Watch me fight. Watch what I do. Words can only do so much, but watch any of my fights, and you guys can see what type of fighter I am. And I'll let them be the judge off of that. That's the beauty of boxing. Everybody has their opinion on it, and every opinion is valid at the end of the day. Um, but once you step in the ring, it's just an art to me. So yeah, I'll tell them just watch my fights and you guys say what you think about me. But at the end of the day, I'm an old school fighter, in my opinion. I love Sugar Ray Leonard, and that's the fighter who I really like to implement in my life, um, in the sport as well. So I have an old school trainer now as well. His name is Shadid Saluki. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's worked with great fighters. He's also trained alongside Sugar Ray, and we believe things like this happen for a reason. And I'm just a whole new fighter now. So yeah, I'm excited to show everybody that February 14th.
Well, before getting to the combinations, because I think that's like one thing about you that as a young fighter that jumps off the screen. But you had a fight. It was last year here in Vegas too. I think on the Palms, on the Guido Richard Torres
Okay,
undercard,
yeah,
and you got hurt early in that fight, and then you lit him up with combat. I can't remember if you stopped him or if you came back
yeah. I
to
stopped
win.
him. I
Yeah,
stopped
you
him
did
within the
stop him.
same round. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
right. So similar kind of thing where why do you, what have you obsessed that you think is getting you hurt early in these fights before you turn it up to another gear?
You know what? I'm just a fighter. I was a fighter who I noticed that there's an addiction where you land good punches, hard punches, and you hurt your opponents. And I was getting greedy. I was getting real greedy, but that's where fundamentals come in. Sticking to the game plan and that's something that we've been implementing big time in this last camp, which is sticking to the game plan and not being greedy. Remembering that there's X amount of rounds coming up, and just planting seeds. That's it. And the main thing is not getting greedy. My coach always says, know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. I'm saying? The ones open up twos, twos open up threes, etc. So that's what we've been implementing for this fight. But when it's time to come, I can fight any fight. If I gotta stay in the pocket, I'll stay in the pocket. If I need to box, I'll box. And yeah, those are the adjustments that we've made.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense what you're talking about. The one set up the twos, twos to threes, and then because, well, you're mentioning how much you like Sugar Ray Leonard. Is that what it was? Like you want to rip those combinations as soon as possible. Is that, and be spectacular? Is
Yeah.
that part of what it is? Yeah.
You know what? I love Sugar Ray. I love Lomachenko, but it's just a matter of know which fight is the correct fight to do within the beginning of the rounds, middle rounds, etc. Anybody could look and hit like a world champion the first 3 or 4 rounds, and it's just remembering that. And yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, again, though, the combination punching, like it is impressive in these fights.
yes, sir.
Is that how would you say that's one of your strongest attributes, and where did that come from?
You know what? It is a strong attribute of mine, but I think it comes from just studying the sport, studying boxing, which fighters I watch, I've been drawn to, But moving forward, it's a matter of not just showing that, showing different looks. Take my opponents to school, see where their schooling comes from, and showing the world that I do have an IQ, and that's what we'll be doing.
Because I don't know. I guess if you could mix in the pot shots, right? That
Yeah,
slow it down with the pot shots and then speed it up when you want to with the combinations, that would be deadly, I guess, right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Um, Let me see. Do you want? How much do you believe you'll get a rematch with Mendoza at some point? And how much did you want one? And do you want one?
You know what? Obviously, as a fighter, right away I wanted a rematch. But as I sat down and reflect, and I was able to see the fight again, um, I need to stay true to myself and the goals that I've set on myself, which is to become a world champion, become undisputed, and that's the route that I'm continuously going to take. So if crossing paths with him again has to do with that, then let's do it. But I'm not chasing names. I'm chasing titles and history. That's what I'm doing.
How much? I know you're fighting in around your hometown area in LA. Uh, Valentine's Day. No, you like Sugar Ray. They said, well, Sugar Ray Robinson with Jake LaMotta was the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Respectfully to your opponent, man, is this going to be a St. Valentine's Day massacre with Mario Hernandez?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, look, there's gonna be love. I've said it. I'm in love with the sport. You can see it in my eyes, and you know what? I'm just gonna showcase the love that I have for the sport. February 14th. There will be a heartbroken, and but afterwards, it's all love. It'll come from Steven Navarro. Um, and yeah, it's all business.
So are you still feeling like, more or less fast track me to the titles? I don't need a whole lot of professional fights to get to feel like I could fight at a championship level.
You know what? My father, we really speak and like to implement performance, and unfortunately, my last fight, we have to go based off of that. So just come February 14th, see the performance I put on, and then we'll go based off of that. But of course, I want to become a world champion. Of course, I want to become undisputed, and that's the path I'm continuously work towards. It's all easier said than done, but I'm up for it. God gave me the vision for a reason, and I believe I'm the one to fulfill them shoes, and that's what I'm continue striving for and working for.
When you talked about like liking the Sugar Ray Leonard combos, being from LA, did you like Oscar too and the combos he threw?
Of
Yeah.
course, Oscar man, he was a superstar. There was nothing like him. You know what I mean? He's a 200 percenter. The Hispanic culture behind him. The women fan base. like all that. It was great, seeing what he was able to do, becoming the golden boy, going to the Olympics, his story, everything was just so beautiful. I really looked up to him growing up, and that is something that is someone I respect big time. He could box. So yeah, he was an amazing fighter. But me personally, the fighters who really stuck out to me was Sugar Ray, Pernell Whitaker, Magic Taylor, and the majority of them are combination punchers, but they're fighters who are going to fight the fight that they want to fight. If they have to stay in the inside, they'll stay in the inside, but they have amazing feet as well. It's just the schooling of boxing that really stuck out to me. I've always been in love with fighters who psychologically break you down, and make you want to quit in the corner in the stool, and that's what really stood out to me, and that's what I plan on implementing moving forward.
Is there any fighter you'd want to get rounds in with in the gym, experience wise?
You know what? If I'm being honest, any fighter, all fighters. You know what? We make good work out of any work. That's the beauty of boxing. I've been in there with pound for pound greats. I've been there with green fighters as well, and it's what we make of it. That's the beauty of the sport. Yeah, my father's always telling me all work is good work. It's just a matter of what the mindset is coming in. There's always work to be done.
Yeah, I know you got in some quality rounds with Naoya Inoue. Bruce Carrington just won a featherweight title over the weekend. What do you think of that
Yes.
matchup, man? How do you think Carrington could do with Naoya Inoue?
Carrington's it's a great fighter. First of all, I want to congratulate him for that, um, accomplishing his goals. And you know what? I think in the sport of boxing, I'll be a good matchup. I think it'll be a very good matchup. I do believe that he should defend his title first
Hmm.
before uh, fighting against Inoue. But yeah, I think that'll be a great matchup. I really do think so.
So he could hang. That's
He can
not a
hang for sure. He can for
yeah,
sure hang. Oh
yeah,
yeah, he can hang.
yeah. And then I gotta ask you too, man. You fought another couple top flight prospects like yourself in Zaquin Moses and Julius Vallo. You beat Zaquin by a majority decision, so obviously that had to be a very close, tight, competitive fight. What do you remember about that fight, man, with Zaquin Moses?
You know what? I've always respected Zaquin, his style. I just know he's a real shifty and smart fighter. So I was really excited to share the ring with him. And it was just a great experience. To this day, I speak about how great of a fighter he is. I'm really happy on the success that he's been having in the sport. I message him here and there, and it's a great fight to watch as well. If anybody's has a couple minutes to watch that, it's an amazing fight. It was a chess match for sure.
Is he? Would you say he's similar to his cousin Shakur in his style?
Um, I'd say yes and no. He has his own little style forming, in my opinion. It is. I guess you could say you can see some resemblance, but I mean
Hmm.
they train together, so you can say that with any teammate. But yeah, he has his own little style to him.
What would you say is a little different about him than Shakur?
You know what? I'd say he's willing to take a little more chances than Shakur is. Um, I'd say that. Yeah, I'd say that. But what's holding me back from saying that at the moment is Shakur's last performance. So yeah, but majority of the time, I believe Zaquin will take more chances than his cousin.
How difficult is a style like Shakur Stevenson, like what you just saw what he did in handling the Tiafimo fight the way he did? Is a fighter with that excellent a defense and distance, is that about as difficult as it gets for a fighter to deal with, or what would you say, Steven?
You know what? What's coming to mind is when Roger Mayweather was talking about IQ beats all. That's what's coming to my mind at the moment. And if you're with a fighter who has high IQ and is dedicated to the sport and is constantly learning how to grow, of course, that's gonna be the most difficult fighter you'll ever face. You know, um, and yeah, so I'd say yeah. That's. I grew up being introduced as hitting and not getting hit. Maybe like I said, I get a little greedy sometimes in the ring, so it might not show. But
Hmm.
that's the boxing that I come from, and I love it. It's there's an art behind it. So my hat comes off to fighters like that. That's why I say fighters like Zaquin Moses and Shakur Stevenson are amazing fighters. I'm constantly watching their fights. I'm excited to watch their fights.
And then how good was that fight with Julius Ballo? And do you think along with yourself and Zaquin, he has a bright future as well?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Julius is a great fighter. Every fighter has their own little path going on. But I think Zay Quinn's style is more in my cup of tea, if I'm being honest. But Julius is an amazing fighter. I've shared the ring with him. And yeah, he's a great fighter. He's a great fighter.
Man, Steven, man, looking forward to seeing the fight. Is this one going to be off TV, or is there like a local LA channel that might be streaming it, or is there any way to catch the fight, or is this just going to be you getting some rounds and staying busy on Valentine's Day?
You know what? I believe it'll be live streamed. I'm not too familiar with if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Watch Live Bash TV, somewhere
Okay.
around there. But I believe it'll be live streamed with Bash, and yeah, it's just a matter of staying busy. If we were in the old days, I'd be fine maybe 10 times in a year. So we're constantly be busy this year, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, man. Anything else you want to? Well, two things. Anything else you want to say to the fans before you get out of here? And what's the goal for 2026 with your first fight coming up of the year?
You know what? First of all, I want to thank all my fans for constantly supporting me. Um, Give me the love. It means the world to me. And look forward to a lot of growth, hard work, and staying busy 2026 from Team Navarro. We've recently implemented a big factor, which is Shadid Saluki. He's an old coach who's been in the game for a while. And I'm excited to show the old school style of boxing come February 14th.